Pittsburgh, man. The people in Pittsburgh. People that attended the game tonight. How y'all feeling? Y'all must be down bad. And I'm a Browns fan. You know it's bad when it's coming from me. And that's a genuine question. Every AFC North fan should be, the Bengals, Ravens, and Browns fans should all be looking out for the mental health of every single Steelers fan they know and every single Steelers fan in the entire country, in the whole world, worldwide. We should be on a full watch, a 24-hour watch of all Steelers fans. That's bad. You know, we'll see what happens in the future. It looks like Aaron Rodgers is going to retire, if not be leaving Pittsburgh after the end of now in their offseason. It looks like Aaron Rodgers is either going to retire or go to a different team. Most likely retire, but we'll see if he wants to continue playing. And yet again, the Steelers are looking down the barrel of a winning season and no playoff win. Fun fact for you, but while I'm here, TJ Watt was drafted in the 2016-2017 offseason, somewhere in there. His senior year was 2016. So his rookie year was 2017. The Steelers have not won a playoff game. Not a period. A period is a much different story, but won a playoff game since TJ Watt's senior year. Or I don't even know if he was a senior at Wisconsin, but his last year at Wisconsin. That was the last year the Pittsburgh Steelers won a playoff game. TJ Watt, in his entire career, has never won a playoff game. Let that sink in. TJ Watt has been playing, let's say, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Not a single playoff win in any of those years. They've gotten to the playoffs multiple times, but they're always one and done. At home, on the road, neutral site, even on the moon, the Steelers could not win a playoff game. It's glorious to watch. It's great. I called it from the beginning of the season. It's like the Steelers team's not making a run. It was so pointless for the Steelers to get Aaron Rodgers and not focus on their future at quarterback. Even though their future quarterback is likely not on this roster, you can still have, at least an evaluation of your quarterback room right now. Maybe get a young prospect in the draft. Instead, you go and sign Aaron Rodgers, who literally was saying, I'm going to be here for 1 year, and I'm leaving. And right now, it looks like he's going to retire. Maybe we'll see if he goes to another team or not. But if he does retire, and he's not coming back to Pittsburgh unless something weird happens, what's next for that quarterback room? They're not bad enough to get a top quarterback in the draft right now. They're not getting Drake May. They're not getting Fernando Mendoza, and they're not getting Dante Moore unless they trade up, which seems highly unlikely because other teams, if those top two teams are open to trading that pick, the top 2 pick, other teams in front of the Steelers, like maybe the Browns or the Cardinals or somebody like that, will trade up and they will take them, and that will be more enticing to either one of those teams because they are closer. It's not a big of a drop-off as, a late teens, early 20s type pick that the Steelers are going to have in the first round this year. And I don't know what, your next best option is to get, Ty Simpson out of Alabama. But is anyone really fearing Ty Simpson after his last year in college? I'm not. Honestly, I think that he should probably go back to Alabama for another year. Now, well, is that in Alabama's best interest? Probably not. So the transfer portal is open and he's not in. So he's either staying at Bama or he's going to the draft. If he has not declared already. I don't follow Ty Simpson at all. So, but that's your options. Or you sign yet another bridge quarterback in free agency. Or you sign like Malik Willis, who's not even guaranteed to be good, while also continuing to pay. And the Browns get a ton of slack for the Deshaun Watson contract. The Steelers have the most expensive defense in the NFL. The performance we saw today was mid-tier. And credit to the Steelers defense, they hung in there for as long as they could before, Nick Chubb and who is the other running back? Their starting running back wore them down, and they ended up just like rolling over and dying basically because their offense couldn't do anything tonight. But I don't want to say no. Hayes maybe? I forget what his name is. But it's ironic also that Nick Chubb is on the roster of the last two teams to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh in the playoff game. But that's kind of funny. Of course, 2020, Cleveland Browns blow out the Pittsburgh Steelers with nobody in the stands. Big Ben is left crying on the bench. And now tonight, the Houston Texans. And I am, obviously, if you follow my channel at all, you know that I'm an Ohio State guy. So I love seeing guys like C.J. Stroud and Cade Stover and even Jack Sawyer and Cam Hayward succeed because that's good for Ohio State. Because they can go to recruits that Ohio State is, high schoolers and be like, hey, these are players that we have in the NFL. So nothing but the best for those guys. And Cam Hayward obviously has a borderline Hall of Fame career, probably. I don't know if he was on any of the rosters that won the Super Bowl. He might have been when he was, real young. I don't think he's old enough to have... No, because their first Super Bowl was, 2005. And I think Hayward was in college in, 2012. So I don't even know if he was on any of those Super Bowl teams. And, that would have been... The last Steelers Super Bowl was, 2011? No. 2009. And Cam Hayward was still in college, I think. So I don't even think Hayward was even on any of those Super Bowl teams. And, Watt's got a Hall of Fame career, but he still doesn't have a playoff win. Isn't that kind of what you need? Borderline, Super Bowl winners are not guaranteed to get in the Hall of Fame. We're going to give TJ Watt a Hall of Fame jacket as soon as he retires, and he doesn't even have one playoff win? Because he was surrounded by guys like Hightower and Hayward his entire career that took the pressure off of him so he could get the one-on-ones. And now he's not even that good. He had some moments in this game. But is he really he might be still top 10, but is anyone really considering him a top 5 edge rusher anymore? And he's in that Joker position anyways, where he's a borderline linebacker, borderline edge rusher. We'll say edge rusher for the purposes of the Myles Garrett and TJ Watt comparison. But I'd take Myles over him. I'd take Will Anderson Jr. over him. I mean, there's so many guys that I would probably take over him right now. And it's so crazy to think that the Steelers and their fans put themselves on such a high pedestal when they're really right down here with the Browns and all the mediocre teams. The difference is they have Mike Tomlin, who refuses to have a losing record. And that comes to the detriment of their team. Because the better that you are, the better record you have, the lower draft pick you have. Which means you are not getting the best players in the draft. Theoretically. And that hurts a team in the long term. For example, the Kansas City Chiefs. They're picking late 20s up in even the last pick of the draft or in the first round almost every year because they're winning Super Bowls. And what did that do to their roster? It got older. There wasn't anything left. They have no wide receivers except Travis Kelce, and he's a tight end. They have no offensive line to protect Mahomes. Their defense is decent, but it's not a Super Bowl winning defense. So the Chiefs has got to start over, and they were bad this year. And the Steelers continued to go 10-7, 9-8, winning the division and getting bounced in the first round that they play in, whether that is the divisional round or the wild card round. And I don't get it. I don't get it. Cuz on one hand, for the Steelers fans, do you fire Mike Tomlin now? Is it a good idea to fire Mike Tomlin now? Because all these other coaches have gotten fired and all these other teams are starting. It's like the Michigan thing with Jim Harbaugh. Why would when Harbaugh left Michigan and after their national championship in 2023 and took the Chargers job really, really late because the season, of course, ended really, the season ends differently for both college and NFL. And Harbaugh leaves really late in the cycle, and that forces Michigan to make a internal hire because everyone was gone at that point in the coaching search. And they come out with Sharon Moore, and we all know how that ended up. And, of course, they're benefiting right now in the long term. But Sharon Moore, he goes 7-5, 8-5, if you want to count the bowl win, in his first year. And he goes, was it 9-3 before he ended up getting fired? He didn't play in the bowl game or didn't coach in the bowl game because he ended up getting fired. But I think it was 9-3. So, in a Michigan team that was busy making playoffs and beating Ohio State and winning national championships and Big Ten championships the 4 years straight. No, 3 years. 21, 22, 23. Big Ten championship and CFP appearance and then national championship. All 3 of those years. Last 3 years of Harbaugh. And they go from that to barely making a bowl game and missing out on the playoffs and barely even being ranked. They're not even ranked anymore. They're not going to be ranked in the college football playoff rankings. Sorry, I'm getting off on tangents here. Back to the Steelers. My bad. But I don't know if you fire Mike Tomlin now because it's so late, because all these teams, Dolphins, Falcons, Ravens, Browns, are all have a head start on you. And I don't know that Steelers job is prestigious enough for a top guy like John Harbaugh, I guess, is the top guy in the coaching search right now. Does John Harbaugh really want to go to Pittsburgh? In a system that has the highest paid defense in the NFL and is not playing like the highest paid defense in the NFL, obviously. They just went up against a Houston Texans team that has a top 2 defense. You can argue 1 and 2 with the Browns in Houston. But the Steelers are getting paid more than both of those defenses. And they're not better than either one of those. Not even close. And they got a lot of holes. Joey Porter Jr. is a straight liability. He just holds and PIs, and he got away with a few today. TJ Watt is not what he used to be. Cam Hayward is only getting older, and that's just on defense. Their linebackers are not very good. And the receivers are Adam Thielen and DK Metcalf, who's really good, actually. DK Metcalf is a wide receiver 1, but he's only getting older. Pat Freiermuth, who had an up and down year, I would say. A room where your next best quarterback is Mason Rudolph. And a decent but hit or miss running back room. Does anyone really want to go to Pittsburgh right now? So I feel like you have to keep Tomlin, but right now it's to getting to the point, and it's already honestly at that point. We're well past that. We're probably 3 or 4 years past this. but it's only making this team worse because Tomlin is so stubborn in his ways. And I made a video about the Browns and Steelers game when the Browns beat them. I was like, did this game just cost Mike Tomlin his job? Because I thought that there was no way that Baltimore would lose the next week. And in Baltimore, you can probably argue, should have won that game. And I'll say it, Baltimore probably wins this game tonight. Because it's in Baltimore. I don't think it's at night, but like, it's still Baltimore in a playoff atmosphere. Like, Baltimore probably wins that game. Lamar Jackson probably wills that team to a win, especially because of Houston's offense that wasn't really that good. CJ Stroud threw, 3 interceptions and had 2 fumbles. And I think one of them was recovered by Houston. The other 4 turnovers were Steelers ball. And they got a grand total of, I think, 3 points out of that. And then one of their other field goals, the other field goal that they had, was just a pure offensive drive. It might have been both off of turnovers, but still, the Steelers' offense managed 6 points in a playoff game against the Houston Texans defense that is really good, but defenses can only hold out for so long, and you need a competent offense to keep them on the field for long periods at a time. That's, yet again, how teams beat the Browns. You keep the Browns defense on the field, and you drive down the field in slow, methodical drives, and you tire that defense out, and eventually they'll give in, and you blow the doors off of the Browns because their offense isn't good enough to score any points and make you pay for that. And the Steelers' offense, 3-and-out, pick, fumble, 3-and-out, punt, end of half. Like, it was just bad. And that Steelers atmosphere was really, really good. All of these atmospheres, especially the Jaguars. Who else was really, really good? The atmospheres. And people, I'll come back to that, but like the atmospheres of these games in these playoffs. People give a lot of flack to the NFL for their atmospheres, myself included. Those are what atmospheres should be for football. You know, the Bills and I keep going to the Bills and Jaguars game because the Jags crowd was the only reason why the Jaguars were still in that game, especially defensively when they could have rolled over and died so many times in that game. And they didn't because the fans kept keeping them in that game. And it's not all the fans, of course, but that's still the energy that the defense is feeding off of. And, the offense is like, hey, they still believe, so why don't we? And they took the lead and almost beat the Bills. So that kind of thing is it's very, very important to have those atmospheres. And while I still think that college football still has the better atmosphere consistently, those atmospheres that we saw in these first rounds of playoff matchups, top tier. And it's unfortunate that great an atmosphere, especially tonight, and Pittsburgh's always got a really good atmosphere, especially at night games. That place is scary to play in at night. And Houston came in, and they looked rattled, and that crowd had them rattled. And their defense said, no, we got it. We're good. This offense can't do anything against us. We're okay. And they were right. And Houston had no problem making this basically a rock fight. And their defense capitalized on a bunch of mistakes that the Steelers made. And that dagger was, we can debate what the dagger was, but it was really the scoop and score. I feel like, at least. The scoop and score was like the moment where it was like, that's it, they're done. That's the nail in the coffin. And then Rodgers on the next drive throws a pick six. Oh, man. It's so fun to laugh at Pittsburgh because they just keep falling into the same trap of, oh, we might be good. No, we're not. oh, what about this year? No, you're done. No. So, like, it's just really funny to watch. And hopefully Tomlin comes back next year and they just do the same thing over and over again. And maybe the Browns will be a little bit better next year. Maybe we can even beat them in Pittsburgh in a regular season game, something that they have not done since I've been alive. I'm in my second year of college. So there you go, Pittsburgh fans. There's your thing in the comments to be like, well, you're just a Browns fan. You can't say anything because you're the Browns and you're not even our rival. So why are you commenting on my video? Okay. That's what I thought. So, anyways, that's just going to do it today. I just thought that was really funny. Figured I'd make a video. Just, off season's going to be hard to make videos about. So, figured I'd get something in when I can. So, and it's officially the off season for the entire AFC North, which is crazy to think about. But, we'll see. I still got the Bills in the Super Bowl. I'm feeling very, very, less and less confident every single day that goes by. Probably going to be an NFC team that ends up winning it unless, the Patriots do something. But other than that, that's going to do it for today. Appreciate you guys watching if you have made it this far. I know it's a long video again. Tried to stop rambling, but, sometimes I can't help myself. So, I'll see you when I see you.